Hi, this is Cynthia from Cynthia's Chair. My friend Tammy asked if I would do a video about how a child can advance their skills using scissors. So we're going to work on that today. I'm going to show you some tips and techniques that hopefully you'll be able to use with your child. So the first thing we're going to do is use a variety of tongs. And I have 3 different ones here. I'm just going to show you how Ivy's able to use them to pick up these little pom-poms and move them into a jar. So Ivy, go ahead and start with that one. And let's pick up a blue one. And let's put it in the big jar. And a black one. And put it in the little jar. So as you can see, the way she's holding these, she automatically picked them up the way she wanted to. It's going to be a similar action to holding a pair of scissors, and I'll show that to you in a minute. Now I'm going to switch tongs. Just want to show you that, got my thumb, that go ahead and get an orange one and put it in a big. That depending on what type of tongs you use, that will determine how well your child is able to manipulate the tongs. So go ahead and put that one in a little one. There you go. And go ahead and do 2 more for me. Put them wherever you want them, whatever colors you want. Okay. All right, good job. And again, she's holding that same way she's going to hold a pair of scissors. So here's another set of tongs. These are a little bit more challenging because they're going to spring load open. And so she's got to control herself just a little bit more. All right, go ahead, honey. Oh, pick up some of the balls.
What color?
How about purple? And see if you can get it in.
Which color?
Put it in the big one. And then get a purple one and put it in the little one. Go ahead and put it in. And there we go. So again, she's holding them in a similar fashion as to how you would hold a pair of scissors. So now we're going to go ahead and give her a pair of scissors just to show you that. And then I have a few more tips so you can work on strengthening. So the first thing I'm going to do anytime that I'm going to start a child with a pair of scissors is I'm going to get, there's 2 very important things. You want to get a blunt tip so it's not a pointed tip. And you also want to get a good pair of scissors, not a pair of plastic scissors. You want a pair that they're going to be successful with. So the first thing I'm going to ask Ivy to do is to grab those scissors. And I am going to hold a piece of paper. Go ahead and put them in your hand correctly. And she did that. She, of course, has used scissors, so she's got her thumb in the little hole, and she has 2 fingers. Sometimes kids put 3 fingers in the bigger side. So, Ivy, I'm going to hold this piece of paper, and I would like you to cut some pieces off. So there's a couple of things about this paper. See how narrow it is? It's narrow for a reason. I want her to be successful, and I'm going to hold it horizontally so that I can help her control how she's cutting. And you see now she's repeating that same action that she did whenever she was using the tongs. Okay, so we're going to take this away for a second, sneak these out, and we're going to work on other ways to strengthen that motion. So I have with me some putty. This is like silly putty. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some games with Ivy that are going to strengthen her motions for cutting. So first thing I'm going to have her do is pinch on the putty like that. So Ivy, I want you to pinch it between your thumb and finger. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Now I want you to hold it. Don't let me get it. Don't let me get it. Don't let me get it. Oh, don't let me get it. Don't let me get it. All right, let me have the rest of that piece and we'll do it again. So what that did was it strengthened her hand skill for that motion. Make it fun, make it be a game. You don't want it to be static, that they're just cutting. So we're gonna do it again and we're gonna pull, 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 pull. Good job. So let's say I have a bigger piece and now I want her to try to get as much, here you go. Get as much as you can. Pull, 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 pull. Good job, good job. Okay, let's bring it back in. Good job. All right, so that's just another way that you can help strengthen that motion which they're going to use for cutting. And I often will give a child the cue to put your thumb up facing the ceiling because we don't want them to try to cut like this or cut like that because it's not going to be functional. So the next activity that I'm going to give Ivy to do is I'm going to have her staple. Now this is a rather large stapler, and depending on the age and the hand size of your child, that will determine if you can use this size or not. So Ivy, I want you to hold that stapler, And I'm going to hold this piece of paper, and now remember, you have to bring your hand way up here towards the top, and I want you to staple really hard. Push, push, push. Good job. I'm going to have you turn your hand towards the camera. So she's holding her hand in that same motion that she would be using a pair of scissors. Let's go ahead and do another one. And you could make this be a fun activity. You could have her, your child do, go ahead, staple. Staple and maybe make a pattern. You always want to make it fun. The other thing, I folded this into thirds, so maybe she could have written a note inside here for mom and dad, and then we stapled it to make it be a hidden secret thing that they could open later. So there's lots of fun ways that you can make an activity be fun for children. Now, because Ivy is not first learning how to use scissors, I'm going to give her a pair of scissors that have more of a pointed tip because I know she's going to be safe with them. So Ivy, I'm going to let you use those scissors, and I'm going to have you go ahead and cut some more of the snips for me. There you go. And again, I'm wanting it to be successful. Go ahead. All right, now let me give you, do you think you can cut a snip off if you hold that paper? I'm going to give you the paper, you hold the paper. There you go, good job. All right, so she did a great job with that. So now I'm going to challenge her to cut, because she's able to do that, to cut a long piece of paper. I've drawn a line down the middle, and I'm just going to have her go ahead and practice this. You can have it, I'm not going to hold it, you do it. And I want you to just try to stay on the line the very best you can. It's okay. There you go. And you're not able to see this because her hand's in the way. So I'm going to have you just drop it down a little bit so they can see what you're cutting. There you go. And now see, she's using that same motion that she was using when she did the stapler, when she did the putty, and even with the tongs. And as you can tell, she's cut before, so she is pretty good at cutting right on the line. And if your child is starting to cut lines like this, you might want to start with a shorter piece of paper. And don't be upset with them if they don't cut straight on the line. She did a really good job. So whenever you're going to do any cutting, any activities like this where you're cutting these little snippets of paper like Ivy just did, make it fun. So I'm going to give her a plain piece of paper. And I got some glitter glue here, and I'm going to have her just go ahead and squeeze some on the paper, and then she's going to put these little pieces that she snipped and maybe make a design out of them. She's going to really, really squeeze. Shake it down once. Let's see, there we go. Okay, squeeze, squeeze. Ooh, that's a toughie. Is it coming? There you go. And so she's using both hands on this, but she's using both hands in that same manner that she would use the scissors. So go ahead and put a couple strips wherever you want them, and then you can put the paper on it, okay? There you go. That good? All right, so get some little pieces of paper there, and you're just gonna glue those down. Can you put this hand down to the side? There we go. So she could make some kind of a design, and it looks like she made 2 eyes and a nose, or maybe a mouth. I don't know which. Which was it, Ivy? Good job. So we've taken that and made it fun, made it functional. So she's not just snipping pieces of paper. And you could do, obviously a variety of colors so that your child could make a fun picture. Okay, another activity that I'm going to show you is using clothespins. That's another action that we can work on, that thumb being up towards the ceiling and working and getting ready to do cutting with scissors. So I have a paint stirrer here, and I'm going to hold it horizontally, and I'm going to ask Ivy to put the clothespins on. Clip them. Oh, it's okay. Clip it. There you go. Get another one. Can you use one hand to do it? Good job. There you go. That one's good there. It's good. So again, she's using that same motion that we talked about earlier. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our scissor cutting activity, and maybe you'll be able to help your child learn to hold and use scissors in a more effective way. A lot of people do ask me, at what age can we expect a child to be able to use scissors? That can vary. It can start as early as a 2.5-year-old, and maybe go the whole way up to a 5-year-old. But by the time they're in kindergarten, you do want them to be able to hold a pair of scissors and use them functionally. So it just really depends on their hand skills. And one of the things I look for is whether or not they can use their thumb, middle, and index finger together to manipulate things, and that will be an indication that they're probably ready. But they also need to have good upright posture, because your shoulder strength and your hand work together for you to be able to use scissors and be able to manipulate them and cut with them. So hopefully you gained something from this. I'll ask you to subscribe to my channel, and good luck teaching your child how to cut with scissors.